we survive the next 2 months. Because the man going into the White House, Donald Trump, is a radical Zionist extremist who has promised to bomb Iran. Trump's appointments. I hear these evangelicals. Oh, goodness. Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense. Have you heard? He's a maniac. This guy got up and said he's raising his 3 boys so they can go and fight for Israel. He's an extremist Zionist. Mike Huckabee, U.S. Ambassador to Israel. Every one of these men or women are uber Zionist warmongers. Every one of them. They're not America first. They're all Israel first.
Welcome to this Essential Quinn video series. I have compiled 4 separate short videos based on a recent talk given by Pastor Chuck Baldwin, surely the leading preacher of our time, which sets out the extreme risks currently faced by our world. The first reveals the role the United States and Israeli governments are playing in leading us to nuclear confrontation with Russia. The second, the part evangelical Christians, monstrous, misguided, rapturist and Zionist beliefs play in this. The third, what we can expect from the incoming President Trump. And the fourth details what we have to do for ourselves in a world controlled by maniacal psychopaths. I hope you get the time to watch all 4, and I welcome your comments.
If we survive the next 2 months, if we survive the next 2 months, evangelicals need to stay on their knees, because the man going into the White House, Donald Trump, is a radical Zionist extremist who has promised to bomb Iran. And then we will be right back where we are now, facing global nuclear war over Israel instead of over Ukraine. What difference does it make? They're both just proxy agents for America to go to war with Russia and to look like they're justified in doing it. Trump's appointments. I hear these evangelicals. Oh, goodness. I hear these evangelicals. Oh, these are the greatest appointments of government in the history of the United States of America. Trump's appointments of Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security. The Department of Homeland Security was created by G.W. Bush as an extension of the police and surveillance state after 9/11. The Department of Homeland, if we had a president, if Donald Trump meant anything that he says he means, the first thing he would do is get rid of the Department of Homeland Security. No, what's he doing? He appoints Kristi Noem as Secretary of Homeland Security, Mike Waltz, National Security Advisor, Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense. Have you heard? I know. I do this, and then I can't talk for the rest of the day. Have you heard this guy talk? This Hegseth guy? He's a maniac. He's a maniac. This guy got up and said something to I'm paraphrasing now, but pretty close, something to the effect that he's got three boys, I guess. That's what he says. I'm raising my sons to go fight for Israel. Well, if this guy wants his own sons to go fight for Israel, then you sure know that he wants your sons to go fight for Israel. He's an extremist Zionist. Elise Stefanik, as U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. Mike Huckabee, U.S. Ambassador to Israel. Every one of these men or women are uber Zionist warmongers. Every one of them. They're not America first. They're all Israel first. The entire world is hanging by a thread over the pits of hell, as Jonathan Edwards described in his famous message, Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. That's how he described the human soul, hanging over the fires of hell by a single thread. That's where we all are individually. Each of us as human beings are hanging by a thread over eternity. Every heartbeat is a gift of God. Every breath is a gift of God. He could take it any second he chose to do so. If we're saved, we're one breath away from heaven. But if you're unsaved, you're one breath away from hell.